Hey guys, here we go into a video on Mikey Garcia and his potential fight against Danny Garcia. Clash of the Garcias. And it's going to be a fascinating fight, to be honest. I will very likely pick against Mikey Garcia as the fight develops. I'm hoping to see a bit of his training camp, just so I can see if he's working on any new things, if he was able to figure out kind of how limited he is. Um, but we're going to go ahead and get into the video, and we're going to be looking at Danny Garcia today as well. But what I want you to focus on, and let me go ahead and put this in slow-mo, I want you guys to focus on his active guard. Now this is very deceiving, right? Because look at how active he is, right? He gets, Lipinets feints him right here. He gets into his high guard, right? When he steps forward, look at how he controls him with the lead hand. He's like, hey, look at this, right? Controlling him with the lead hand again. Hey, look at this, right? Doing a good thing, right? Not the greatest weight transfer when he goes from this position here, right? Look at how he shifts his weight, right? He's not getting his head all the way off the line, right? He's kind of just moving and moving, but his head is not moving off the line as he goes. But doing a good job of controlling. That's a good one right there, a good weight transfer right there. This is the kind of weight transfer here that you can use to disguise a right hand. Notice he's slipping off the line, right? Coming back, right? He gets feinted, and he's in position to, right, block the shot, right? Continue moving off the line and doing a good job, right? Now, the reason that this is all kind of deceiving, though, is because of the fact that Mikey Garcia doesn't fight this way. Notice he's great active guard, right? Beautiful work here, right? Control, slip to the outside, give him different looks, right? But Mikey Garcia doesn't know how to set his offense up off of his guard. And there are other problems that Mikey Garcia has, and we can kind of see it right here. Watch his feet right here as he steps, right? Watch his left foot. Notice how he steps on his lead foot on his toes, right? And he goes from toe to heel. This is going to cause him a tremendous amount of problems fighting Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia has really good timing. If you think back on it, I did a video recently about, we'll talk about the Billy Joe Saunders one, but Billy Joe Saunders had the same problem. When you step like that, it allows your weight to transfer through your body, right? So think about it. Think about it when when you want to throw a right hand, right? You're going to be on your toes on your back foot, right? Because you want your weight to transition, right? So having your weight in your heel will block your weight transition for that side of your body, right? Which will allow you to have a really great right hand. And we'll talk about that a little later. But when he steps, notice how he's stepping on his toes here. Now he's going to transition to stepping on his heels. But when he uses his lead hand right here, right? No lead hand there, and he steps on his heel, lead hand here, and he uses his toes. This is a big problem, and we'll see later on in the fight why that's a problem. But again, very active guard, great work here, controlling Lipinets, giving him right hand feints, right, jab feints. But the only problem is that Mikey Garcia doesn't know how to fight like this, right? And you'll see later. But look at how when he feints, right? Look at how his weight, after his weight goes, right? It's very hard to tell, but watch when he steps, right? Look at how his weight keeps moving after his hand is already connected with his opponent, right? That's the connection. Now his weight's still moving forward. That's the connection. Now his weight is still moving forward. His weight is still transitioning through his hips. We'll take a look at it in real time, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But there's a pause there, if you watch really close, where he's kind of rebalancing himself because he's throwing all his weight even into his probes, right? Now it looks good. Now this is the part that's concerning. Notice how he's here, and all of these weight transitions, right? Lipinets is transitioning weight with him, right? Touching. They're at the same pace, the same rhythm. But notice, once he starts really feinting, he starts stepping immediately. And he does catch Lipinets off guard here, but Lipinets is ready for it because he steps with his punch, right? Or he steps with his feint. Now you're going to see why that's a problem later, or right now rather, because he's going to always step with his attacks, right? So even though he had that really active guard, right? He doesn't throw very many punches in the first round. Even though he had that really active guard, he doesn't use it to set up his punches. He still explodes out of his guard, right? Lipinets is able to see the punches coming, even though the first one catches him because it's a hook and he's expecting a jab, right? But he's able to get away from these shots because Mikey telegraphs his attacks every time by stepping. As we're going to see here again, easily able to get out of the range of this shot here, right? and then the next one comes, and is able to counter Mikey. And that's because Mikey, although he looks like he has a really active guard at the beginning of the fight, he winds up resorting to just kind of standing in front of his opponent and just launching punches. He loses all of his active guard once he starts punches. As you can see here in this clip, right? No more feinting. And then he just kind of jumps forward and shoots that jab. He might catch Lipinets right there, right? But Lipinets is still rolling with the shot. And again, coming forward. Now this is something that I really don't like from Mikey Garcia, how he doesn't respond very well to punches, right? He's easy to feint, and he doesn't always look to counter, right? And we'll see, maybe there's more clips there. But again, when he comes back with his 1-2, right? Hook, right hand. You know, Lipinets is not really getting away from it. Mikey has a fantastic right hand, right? But look at how he gets stuck on the line after because he's throwing all his weight into the shot. When we get a look at his feet a little later, you'll get to see what I'm talking about. But notice that Mikey Garcia, when he actually throws punches, in spite of the fact that he had that seemingly active guard, it's all gone now, by the way. If you notice, he's only leaning on that front foot and then exploding out, and Lipinets is able to find him and time him and get away from a lot of the shots. Now, Lipinets has a flaw where his hips are really, they're not square enough, right? And he doesn't transfer his weight to his left leg super well, right? So whenever he gets away from a right hand, or when he tries to get away from a right hand, he dips down this way, right? Notice that he's slipping to the outside of Mikey Garcia to get away from the right hand, right? And this way, right? That's because of the way that his hips are positioned and his feet are positioned. They're not pointing at his opponent. He doesn't have the ability to transfer his weight there. And that's why Lipinets was a great target for Mikey Garcia, because as you see here, Lipinets here is trying to get and duck the right hand this way, right? He's trying to get out of the way of it. And that's going to be a huge problem for Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia actually tries to do the same thing. And Danny Garcia is not even half as fast as Lipinets is. So Mikey Garcia is going to be able to land some really good 1-2s for sure. But getting back to Mikey Garcia, let's take a look at his right hand. Again, not an active guard, telegraphs this shot, right? Lipinets, because Lipinets is moving in the direction of the punch rather than slipping his head to the other side and getting completely away from the shot, he slips into it, right? And that means that he's going to get caught with the shot no matter what. But let's look at his technique when he shoots this, right? Look at how he shoots all his weight. Watch Mikey Garcia's foot, sorry. Look at how both of his feet are in the air, and he's going to be landing on the ball of his foot, right, as he transfers his weight back to his right leg and then into his right hand. So he's kind of doing two weight transitions here. He's centered, and he uses this hook to position his hips so that all his weight is on his back leg, and then throw the right hand. To be honest, fantastic technique. You know, once you have the fundamentals down, you can perform this kind of technique to kind of whip your hips back so that you can get a really good right hand. Phenomenal. But part of the problem is that Mikey Garcia does not do that when he's just shooting his jab, right? Or he even does that when he's just shooting his jab. You know, now that one's a little outlier, but notice how when he's moving around the ring, he's on his toes and he gets stuck there a lot, right? Again, in stepping with all of these punches, step, 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 right? Step. Boom. Look at how he steps, and when he doesn't throw his right hand, watch his technique here. Watch how he gets stuck here. He's stuck on the line after he throws that shot because he has no control over his hips. They're still moving after he's done punching. And that's because he's allowing all the weight to transfer back. But when he does that, his back foot is not even on the ground, so he doesn't have anywhere to put the rest of his weight because you have 2 feet, right? And half of his weight is going into his front leg or transitioning back to his back leg, right? And he kind of gets stuck on the line. And you'll see a little bit more what I'm talking about later. But again, that same kind of technique where he throws that hooking kind of shot to transfer his weight to his back leg so he can load up on his right hand. But the fact that he telegraphs it by always stepping means that Danny Garcia is going to have a very interesting time moving forward in the fight if he can pick up on the timing. Anyway, just more stepping with his shots, you know, the same technique, right? But look at how he gets stuck after on the line, and Lipinets is able to catch him. Again, part of being an A-level fighter is moving off the line after you attack your opponent, having good defense. And Mikey Garcia does not have good defense, as well as respond well to being feinted and being put out of position. Look at how he's not responding at all to these punches and kind of just eats a shot. But again, in the second round, Lipinets starts slipping and catching these shots and timing Mikey Garcia in between his own punches because of the fact that Mikey Garcia always steps with his attacks. Boom. Again, right? Catching him in between transitions and being able to fight him off of his own jab, right? Now, this is a great example right here. Watch Mikey Garcia's feet here. Whoops, my video froze. Watch Mikey Garcia's foot here. When he shoots this jab, look at how his weight gets stuck, and his weight continues to circle out. Whoops, let's go back. I don't know why my video is freezing. But you can see when he steps, his weight gets stuck, and now he has nowhere to go, and Lipinets just lands an easy body shot. And that's because when he steps with his punch, he's not putting the weight into his heel, right? So his hips are going to follow him because he's still pushing off from his back foot, launching his hips forward, and now they have nowhere to go. No matter how strong you are, you'll never have enough strength to throw all your weight into it and catch it on the toes of your front foot. This is the same problem that Anthony Joshua had in his fight. But as you can see, having a huge problem right there. And then again, even when Mikey Garcia counters, right, he winds up getting stuck on the line with his opponent. And Danny Garcia loves to throw punches. So even if he gets countered, boom, expect Danny Garcia to be coming back with big shots like this. So now the things that we're going to be looking for, or the things I'm going to be showing you in the next part of the video, are how Danny Garcia is going to take advantage of these flaws. Mainly stepping with his punches, as we saw. Mikey Garcia always steps with his shots, right? Step, jab, and he's easy to time. He's easy to counter, boom, and he gets stuck on the line after, and he's easy to hit with counter punches in process. So let's go ahead and take a look at these clips fighting Adrian Granados, who, believe it or not, is actually very similar to Mikey Garcia, in spite of the fact that he doesn't have a freaking rocket right hand, right? That's one of the very few differences between them, is the ability to get the power into his shots. But look at how easily Danny's able to kind of parry these shots from Adrian Granados, because Adrian Granados has the same flaw, where he might look like he has an active guard, but he steps with all of his punches, right? Stepping, and then look at Danny Garcia. He's like, okay, here comes the attack. He's stepping, catch the jab. Oh, it's not a jab. Slip the right hand, and then boom, 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 right? And that's the huge problem that Mikey Garcia is going to have, is because not only is he slow getting onto the line, he's predictable when he gets onto the line and into range, but he doesn't get off the line either. And that's going to be a big problem for him fighting Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia likes to throw lots of punches once he's on the line with his opponent. Now, Danny Garcia has kind of the opposite problem that Mikey Garcia has. Almost all of his weight is always in his heels. Notice how flat-footed he is. That's a criticism that he gets a lot, but that also allows him to have balance, right? Boom, 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 to throw lots of punches. Even though he's not super fast, right? He's never quite out of position to throw a punch. You know, he could do better. He could have more power, but it makes him very dangerous for someone like Mikey Garcia, who's almost always on their toes and has no ability to control their weight, whereas Danny Garcia always has control of his weight. Now again, Danny Garcia has one flaw that I don't like. He tries to roll the right hand this way, right? That is going to be a big problem against Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia's 1-2 is so lightning fast, and he, like I showed you, the way that he whips his hips into his quote-unquote jab, which is really like a hook. It's really like, hey, look at this. And then he can kind of either grab your lead hand and pull your lead hand down and punch you in the face, or you'll turn away from it like it's a hook, and then he'll walk you into the right hand. Either of those are like good ways for Mikey Garcia to land it, but even better way for Mikey Garcia to land it is when you get feinted and then boom, you try to roll with the shot. And Mikey Garcia closes a lot of distance on his right hand, because he steps so far into it, right? But anyway, let's keep going. I want to get through this before the 20-minute mark. But again, Danny Garcia is showing some flaws and inability to get away from the right hand. That's going to be very, very dangerous for him. Fortunately for him, everyone in boxing knows that Mikey Garcia has a great right hand, so at least he'll know that it's coming. Now, great feint here from Danny Garcia, 1-2, right? And on accident, Adrian Granados tries to counter him, right? And their hands kind of touch, right? So he doesn't land the shot, but great feint right there. And then again, Adrian Granados timing or feinting Danny Garcia here, but stepping with his shot, right? And Danny Garcia sees it coming from a mile away because he's stepping with the shot, right? But Adrian Granados doesn't wind up throwing the shot and winds up being able to throw a 1-2, right, and kind of catch Danny out of position. But Danny is infinitely ready for the stepping attacks of his opponents, right? And then now, when Adrian Granados does something, he steps and throws a straight right hand, right? He gets walked into this left hook. Now, Mikey Garcia will not be throwing a stepping right hand without a left hook. He doesn't know how to do it. You've never seen it in his fights. He never throws a lead right hand. He doesn't know how to fight with an active guard. So he's not transitioning his weight through his hips as he fights. You know, as you saw in the fight, when he does look to get into position to throw his punches, he's very square, and that means that he has to launch his left hand first to get his hips in motion and set them so he can throw his right hand. So this is a tactic that is not going to be very effective for Mikey Garcia in their fight. But again, look at how he sees the step coming, right? Comes, and then he expects the right hand to come after, so he gets down. Danny Garcia is showing not only that he's going to be ready for it, but also that after that he's expecting the right hand, he's moving in line with the right hand after, right? Again, a big problem for Danny Garcia. So we're going to have to see if he can take Mikey Garcia's power, right? But as we see, again, rolling the right hand, moving in line with it again. Again, very big problem, right? Blocks, gets under it, right? Very big problem. This is not how you want to get away from Mikey Garcia's right hand because he will knock you out. I don't know, like, what weight class of a fighter he'd have to fight to land a solid right hand, not knock him out. But again, he didn't knock out Lipinets either, so, or Easter, and he caught them with plenty of shots. But this is the problem that Mikey's going to have here, is that Danny Garcia does fight on the inside pretty well. Boom, 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 right? That's going to be a big problem for Mikey Garcia as well because Mikey Garcia doesn't tie his opponents up after. He doesn't move off the line super well. He kind of usually just gets stuck there, and that's because of his footwork. Now, again, some flaws of Danny Garcia. Some decent work there from Danny Garcia, right? As Adrian Granados is stepping, right? He's able to feint him into that right hand. But it looked like Danny Garcia was trying to time him over the jab right there. And I think that that's going to be a very effective punch for him. Why do I have so many of his flaws in here? I'm not sure. But getting back to the parts that he's going to do well with. Catching the jab because Mikey Garcia always steps with that shot. And then Adrian Granados doing something that Mikey Garcia can't do. Stepping and throwing a right hand, right? And Danny Garcia does a great job of, this time, slipping to the inside and then coming back with the punch, right? Even though he gets caught himself, right? This is going to be a concern if Danny Garcia uses this as a tactic against Mikey Garcia because Mikey Garcia, boom, has a great left hook as well. He has, like, to be honest, it's like one of the best left hooks I've ever seen. He hits so hard with it. But unfortunately, his balance after he throws his shots, because he's always on his toes, is very, very flawed. Now, this is where Danny Garcia is going to have a lot of success. Mikey Garcia does this same tactic where he'll circle, and he always steps with his feints, right? And we saw it in the other clip with Mikey where, let's see, oh, right here. So look at how he steps with his, whoops, well, he throws a real punch there. And he's throwing more real punches. Come on, Mikey, show me what you want, what I wanted to show them. Let's see if I can find the clip. Nope. Okay, I think it's this one. Stepping. See how he steps even with his feints, right? Feint, step, step, right? That's going to be a huge problem for him, especially as he circles, right? As you can see him circling here. And look at how he's on his toes here, right? His heel never touches the ground, straight to his toe again. That's going to be a big problem for him as his weight gets stuck on the line because Danny Garcia loves to throw this shot. And you'll see it later. That's supposed to be countering the jab. He's supposed to be a pull counter, right? He's supposed to pull, right, get away from the jab, and then come over the top. And you'll see him do that move a few times, but this is beautiful right here. He knows that Granados is going to try to jab him. He controls the lead hand, picks up that the right hand is coming after, right? And then, boom, catches him with it, right? Great timing from Danny Garcia as the fight continues to move forward and Danny Garcia is able to pick up Mikey Garcia's timing. I think he's going to have a lot of success. And now this is going to be a huge problem for Mikey Garcia. Why did I go so far back? I don't know. But this right here is going to be a huge problem. Adrian Granados feints. Adrian Granados is feinting him with the jab, right? And again, stepping with the punch. Danny Garcia has shown that he knows how to handle this tactic and then lands a great right hand of his own and almost drops Granados with that shot too. Getting feinted here, feinted from the jab, and then starts going to the body. And again, Mikey Garcia has a hard time moving off the line, especially when he misses a punch, because of the fact that his weight doesn't have anywhere to go. Right? He's not able to throw his weight into his opponent. He's not able to land those shots. So if Danny Garcia is having the same amount of success slipping and getting away from Mikey Garcia's jab as he is Adrian Granados, which I think he will, because Mikey Garcia does not have a very active guard and no ability to fight off of his active guard, I think he's going to be winding up in a lot of situations exactly like this, where he shoots the jab, Danny Garcia is able to get to the inside, right? And then set up some good shots on the inside. And I think this is exactly how the fight is going to go. As soon as Danny Garcia gets the timing of Mikey Garcia, I think he's going to be able to do this to him all night. Now, the big question is, will Mikey Garcia be able to knock Danny Garcia out before Danny Garcia gets his timing? And I'm leaning towards heck no. Because he couldn't knock out Robert Easter Jr. and he couldn't knock out Sergey Lipinets, and both of those fighters have very bad flaws where their weight is mostly on their back leg, and that only gives them one way to get away from the right hand, and that's to roll with it, right? And Mikey Garcia was able to land right hands against them all night long. But I think that that's going to be a very effective shot for Danny Garcia all night. And this clip gets a little cut short, but it's supposed to be Granados shooting a shot, a jab to the body, but telegraphing it with steps, right? And then Danny Garcia coming in with that timing and landing a great shot on him. And that's the end of the clips. But anyway, as you can see with Danny Garcia, you know, the way that he gets away from the right hand may be very problematic for him. It may be very problematic. But the way that he counters the jab is going to be probably the most important part of the fight. And because you throw more jabs than right hands, I have to lean towards Danny Garcia knocking Mikey Garcia out. I think that that's how it's going to be. I'm picking Danny Garcia. Yeah, I think I'm picking Danny Garcia for knockout. But I wouldn't be surprised if Danny Garcia gets caught early. As you see in the clips, he has a hard time getting away from the right hand, and Mikey Garcia has a way faster 1-2 than Adrian Granados, and Adrian Granados still gets pretty close in a lot of his clips. But I expect Danny Garcia to pick up the timing and then eventually start doing stuff to him like this, right? Boom, boom, and catching him as he's trying to move off the line, because Mikey Garcia doesn't control his opponent very well after he attacks. He doesn't set his punches up super well because he always steps with his punches. There's just so many things that kind of fall in line to make Danny Garcia, who's very likely going to be the pressure fighter, the one coming forward, forcing Mikey Garcia into kind of attacking him, exploding out of his guard because he doesn't know how to control the distance or control the space between him and his opponent. And I feel like Mikey Garcia is going to put himself out of position, and he's not going to be able to reward himself enough to make it a winning fight for him. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And oh yeah, check out my new boxing website, foutsboxing.com. Check it out. There'll be a link in the description. I'm going to be writing articles, and you guys can sign up and leave comments. And yeah, very exciting stuff for me. But I hope you guys are interested. I hope you guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you.